end up, as you'll see, make tonight super special, and thank you. One group in particular deserves recognition because, you know, when you plan a wedding, people always say, well, what can I do to help? And so you mentioned some things. And when the creative portion of the design team, not me, were coming up with what's the theme? Well, fall, you know, harvest, wine, grapes. And they said, you know, I'm not sure how it's going to show up, but we need corks. And you've seen corks on the welcome bags, you've seen them in the centerpieces. And so we said, you know, we could use some corks. Well, you get corks from drinking wine. And a lot of people drink a lot of wine. I want to see the hands of all the people who contributed at least one cork.
Kim Strutt.
Kim Strutt, where are you, Kim?
He's got a case.
You know,
he's got about 100 cases.
To see more hands, which only confirms the fact that a very small group of people drank an awful lot of wine. And I know people have warned us about sort of the after the celebration sort of letdown. I think a lot of those people are going to be disappointed that they have no real legitimate reason to drink as much wine. I've also been given advice that evenings like this can come and go in a blink. It's going to be 4 or 5 hours of a lot of fun, but it can go in a blink. And so people said, you know, it's good if you just step back and relax and maybe just take in the event, you know, so that you can almost call time out. And then other people said, you know, I wanted to do that, but I got caught up in the night. And I never did that, and it went by in a blink. So I'm going to do both of those things. I'm not going to forget to step back, and I'm going to step back and just take in the evening. Okay, enough about me.
Nice.
Allison. Wow. You're gorgeous.
I haven't cried all night.
You're a beautiful bride, and as I see the woman you've become, I'm going to start to cry. I couldn't be more pleased. Dion, wow. You're a lucky guy.
Nice.
As I thought about Allison and Eon and the evolution of their relationship, I couldn't help but think when Liz and I first met Eon. Allison actually met Eon, I think, her very first day on campus. Thanks, Lindsay. And they've known each other for a long time. We didn't meet Eon until 2005. It was spring. It was the men's lacrosse team was playing in the playoff game at Princeton. We drove up from Baltimore. Allison drove some friends down from Ithaca. We met. Eon, being the horse racing fan that he is, had already decided to go to Pimlico to watch the Preakness. You knew that there was a race that day, right? Right. Okay, so then he found his way to Princeton on Sunday when the games were played. So we had a great day there. A great day, but it's a long day. And then it was time for Allison to head back to Ithaca. 4 or 5 hour drive. And we were concerned she'd get in the car. All of her buddies would get in the car. They'd all go to sleep. And she'd be left driving these 4 or 5 hours by herself. And we said, Al, I'd call her out. You need to find somebody to help you stay awake. Eon, you stepped up. And he sat up front. He stayed awake. And they got back safely, and, you know, I'm serious now. I go back and forth. I'm serious now.
I go back and forth.
We appreciated that. We hadn't met you before. First impressions are important. Okay? The next test, opportunity for us to get to know Eon a little bit better. 2 years later, 2007, July. Allison's living in New York. Eon's living in New York. They decide to come down to spend a weekend in Baltimore. I think I started to begin to think that they were more than just friends. I get them tickets for an Orioles game, and it wasn't a matter of seeing if Eon could stay awake during an Orioles game. That's unrealistic. But it was a special game. It was a Yankees-Orioles game. And I was able to get some really sweet tickets, club level, from a trustee at the school that I teach at. They came in an envelope, but inside the envelope was a sheet of paper that had specific expectations for anybody who was in that club box. 1, no Yankees paraphernalia. 2, the only cheering that was allowed from that box was for the Orioles. And 3, no drunken disorderly conduct. I was out of town. I sent my son Mark as chaperone. The report was Eon was a man of his word, and he behaved like a gentleman, and not an Oriole, and not a Yankees fan. As I've gotten to know Eon better over the last couple of years, I've realized a couple of things. He is a man of his word, he is a gentleman, and he's much more than that. He has this uncanny, intuitive sense to understand people so that when you're in a conversation with him, you feel like you've known him. He makes everyone feel comfortable. And he's driven by a moral compass that allows him to deal with people in an honest, yet caring and compassionate way. And Eon, your sense of determination and drive certainly has allowed you to accomplish a great deal so far, and will no doubt serve you well in the future. And there's one thing I don't like, though.
Oh, wow.
Eon's one of those guys who has that get out of trouble smile. I don't know how often you need to use it, but you have it, and I don't like it. As I think about all these great character traits, there's no doubt that you make an awesome friend and companion. And I couldn't be more pleased that you've married my daughter and we can welcome you into our family. So if you'll raise a glass and a toast to Allison and Eon. Whoa, I'm not done.
Whoa.
Come on, we want to drink.
Okay. I want to party. As soon as I'm done, I'm partying. May you be friends to each other as only lovers can. And may you love each other as only best friends can. When the person you marry becomes your best friend, you're in for a treat. I know.
In through your nose, out through your mouth. Very true. Cheers. Cheers. Well said, Howard.